It's the AQA GCSE Foundation Non-Calculator Paper 1 from November 2023. Let's get straight into it. Question number 1, write down the value of 2 to the power of 3 or 2 cubed. That just means 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2. 2 times 2 is 4 and 4 times 2 is 8. Part B, work out 3.45 add 2.07 minus 1.3. I think I would do this one and this one first and then add that last one. So 3.45 minus 1.3, making sure the decimal point is in the same column and everything else will be in the same column then. I've added a placeholder 0 just to make it easier to understand. 5 take away 0 is 5, 4 take away 3 is 1, 3 take away 1 is 2, 2.15. Now we need to add on 2.07. 5 add 7 is 12. 1 add 1 is 2. Decimal point, 2 add 2 is 4, 4.22. Question 2. Here is a triangle. Measure the length of side x, give your answer in millimeters. So you're measuring this side and you should have an answer of 70 millimeters. You can have between 68 and 72 for that answer. Part B, measure angle y. For this angle, you could have 32 degrees, but you could have anywhere between 30 and 34 degrees. Question 3, write a number in the box to make the statement correct. 3.7 is smaller than, so I just need any number that's greater than 3.7. So I'm just going to put 4 and that would work. Question 4, here is a number line. Which number is at A? I've got 1 here and I've got 2 there, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 gaps, and those 4 gaps are equal to 1. So that means each gap is going to be worth 1 divided by 4 is 0.25 or a quarter. So if this is 1, this will be 1.25. Part B, here is another number line. Which number is at B? I've got negative 3,000 here and negative 2,000 here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gaps this time, and those gaps are equal to 1,000. If I do 1,000 divided by 5, each gap is going to be worth 200. So I'm going backwards from minus 3,000. So this one would be minus 3,200, and this one would be minus 3,400. Question 5. Here is a shape. Write down the order of rotational symmetry of the shape. This is just saying, if I rotated the shape 360 degrees, so a full turn, how many times would it look exactly like this? Easy way to do this is just count how many corners there are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So it'd be 10 times. Question 6. Simplify fully a plus a plus a plus a. This is 1 lots of a plus 1 lots of a plus 1 lots of a plus 1 lots of a. So altogether, there's 4 lots of a. So we can write 4 multiplied by a, so we just write 4a. Part B, factorize 5a plus 10. I'm first looking for the highest common factor of 5 and the 10. So highest common factor of 5 and 10 is 5. So I've pulled 5 out. Is there any common factors with the letters? There's an a here, but there's no a here, so I can't pull this a out. So I open up my bracket. What multiplies by 5 to give me 5a? That would just be a. Or you could think of it as 5a divided by 5, which is just a. What multiplies by 5 to give me 10? It's plus 2. If you expanded that out, 5a, 5. If you expanded that out, 5 times a is 5a, 5 times 2 is plus 10, so that's correct. Part C, multiply out 4 and in brackets 10 minus x. So I'm multiplying everything on the outside by everything on the inside. 4 times by 10 is 40. 4 times by negative x is going to be negative 4x. Question 7. Ollie and Rachel run a marathon race. Ollie starts the race at 9:15 a.m. He takes 3 3/4 hours to finish the race. At what time does he finish? How long is 3 3/4 hours? So 3 is a whole number, and this 3/4 is of an hour. So 3/4 of 60, which is the same as an hour. 1/4 of 60, if I divide this by 4, so I half it twice, would be 15. So 1/4 is equal to 15. And if I multiply that by 3, 15, 30, 45. So 3/4 is equal to 45. So I've got 3 hours and 45 minutes that I need to add on to 9:15 a.m. I'm adding 3 hour 45 minutes onto 9:15. So let's add the 3 hours first. So 9, 10, 11, 12. It'd be at 12:15. And then I need to add 45 more minutes on. So that would take me up to 1300 or 1 p.m. Part B. Rachel has a target time of 4 hours and 10 minutes. She has been running for 186 minutes. To meet her target, how many minutes does she have left to finish the race? So let's first figure out how much this is in hours. So we know there's 60 minutes in each hour. So 60, 120, 180. So that's 3 hours that we have so far. And we have an extra 6 minutes. So it's 3 hours and 6 minutes so far. And we have up to 4 hours and 10 minutes. So we're going up to 4 hours and 10 minutes. So between those two, there's 1 hour. Between those two, there's 4 minutes. So the answer is 1 hour and 4 minutes, but it wants it in minutes. So we need to convert this into minutes. So that's 60 minutes plus 4 minutes, which is 64 minutes. Question 8. Shamira uses a tally chart to record the vehicles passing her school. Here is a chart with the tallies. Each 5-bar gate represents 5 vehicles. Let's just fill out this table first before we move on to the question. So that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 23, 5, 10, 12, 5, and that's 4 there, so it's 9, and that's just 4. Shamira says the number of cars is more than the total of the other vehicles because car have 4 5-bar gates and the others only have 3 5-bar gates. Is she correct? So let's just look. She's thought because there's 4 5-bar gates there and there's only 3 5-bar gates for the rest of them, she's thinking that there's more cars than there are the rest of them. So we know that the total of the cars is 23. So cars is equal to 23 and the rest is going to be equal to, we just need to add these up. So 12 and 9 and 4. 12, add 9, add 4. 12 and 9 is 21, add 4 is 25. So we can see 25 is more than 23, so her answer is incorrect. 25 is more than 23, therefore she is incorrect as there are less cars than the other vehicles. Part B. On the grid, draw a bar chart to represent the data in the tally chart. We've already got our frequency on the y-axis. We need to put our vehicles on the x-axis. Taking a look at this, I've got car, bus, van, and lorry. So C, B, V, and L. C, B, V, and L. So you can either have these where they're touching each other, or you could have them separate from each other. But each gap needs to be the same as each other. Let's write the frequencies for those. So it's 23, 12, 9, and 4. I'm going to plot those on. So 23 is between 22 and 24, so I'll draw a line there. For buses, it's at 12, so that would be there. For vans, it'd be at 9, so that would be there. And for lorries, it'd be at 4, so that'd be there. And then I just draw my straight lines down. So first two done. And yours should look something like this. Question 9. Put the whole numbers 1 to 12 into the boxes to make the calculations correct. Only use each number once. So we're trying to make all of these calculations. We've got 7, 32, 15, and 24. And we can only use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And we can only use them each once. So to make 7, because I can see it's the smallest number, I'm going to choose the smallest numbers first. I'm going to use 1 and 2. So 1 and 2 is 3, and I need 4 more to get to 7. For this 32, because it's the largest number, I'm going to choose the 2 largest numbers to get as close as I can. So I'm using 12 and 11. 12 and 11 is 23, so I need 9 here to make that one work. That's 12, 11, and 9 gone. For 15, let's just use 3 and 5 first. 3 and 5 gives me 8, and 8 and 7 would give me 15. So 3, 5, and 7 are done. And I'm hoping for the last one, I need to use 6, 8, and 10. So if I put 6, 8, and 10, does that work? 6 add 8 is 14. 14 add 10 does give me 24. So that was quite lucky. Question 10. A regular pentagon has a perimeter of 100 millimeters. A shape is joined by joining a square to the pentagon. Work out the perimeter of the shape. Let's just work out what each side would be on this pentagon. On a pentagon, there's 5 sides, so I need to do 100 divided by 5, which is equal to 20. So that means each side is worth 20. So all of these are going to be worth 20. And because this side is worth 20 and each side on a square is the same, all of these will be worth 20. So let's count how many sides we have in this new shape. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and all of them are going to be worth 20. So we're doing 20 multiplied by 7, which gives me 140 millimeters. That's the distance around the outside of the shape. Question 11. Last week, Eric worked for 10 hours. He paid no tax and received £90. This week, Eric works for 15 hours. He assumes he will be paid at the same rate and pay no tax. How much does he expect to receive this week? So he's earning this amount last week. Let's work out how much he's earning per hour last week. So he's earning £90 altogether and he's working for 10 hours. So we need to do 90 divided by 10, which is 9. So he's getting paid £9 per hour. This week, Eric works for 15 hours, so we need to do 15 this time, because it's 15 hours, multiplied by the amount he's paid per hour, which is 9. 15 times 9, you can do 9 times 10, which is 90, and 9 times 5, which is 45, 90 add 45, which is 135. So altogether, he's going to earn £135 this week. Part B. In fact, this week, Eric is paid an extra 50p per hour, and he pays £8.90 in tax. What does this tell you about the amount he receives? Let's just figure out how would this affect the calculations. So we know he's working 15 hours. So for each hour, he's getting an extra 50p. So we need to do 15 multiplied by 0.5, which gives us £7.50. So this is the amount extra that he's earning, but he's actually having to pay tax now. So we need to take this away. So we're doing £7.50 take away £8.90, and if I do £8.90 take away £7.50, that's £1.40. So it's going to be negative £1.40. We're actually losing money this time. Even though he's getting paid more per hour, he's having to pay this tax, so the amount that he's going to be receiving, it's less than he expected. Just to finish this off, we can say he is earning £1.40 less than expected. Question 12. Complete the list of 6 numbers so that the mode is 9, the median is 13, and the range is 11. Let's do this one first. Mode just means the most common, the most popular. I only have 1 9, so I need at least 2 9s. Then it tells me the range is 11. So that says the biggest take away the smallest will be equal to 11. So if I do 9 add 11, that will give me the biggest number. Then the last one, I think this one's a little bit tricky. We got the median, but this time we have 6 numbers. That tells me that the median will be between those 2 numbers. But I can't have the same number, so I can't choose 13 twice. I'm going to choose 12 and 14, and if you think about it, the median here would be 13, so this would work. Question 13. A shape has an even number of sides, so it could be 2, 4, 6, 8, or 10, or anything more than that, that's even. More sides than a square, so a square has 4 sides, so we need to get rid of 2 and 4. And it has fewer sides than a decagon. Decagon has 10 sides, and the way that you can remember it is decimals go up to 10, or base 10, so we don't want 10. It can either be 6 or 8, so 6 is a hexagon, and 8 would be octagon, so I'm just going to choose hexagon here. Question 14. On the grid, draw the graph of y equals 2x minus 6 from these values. So the easy way to do this is if you find 2 points and you just join them up. One way you could do it is you could substitute 2 values for x. So for example, you could substitute x equals 0 and x equals 1 and just do that. I'm going to do it a little bit differently. I'm going to use this gradient, which tells me how steep the line is, and this y-intercept, which gives me one of the points already. So this is telling me where it crosses the y-axis. So it's at minus 6. That's one of my points. This is telling me for every 1 I go across, that means I'm going up by 2. So 1 across, up by 2. So 1 across, and I'm just checking 0 to 1. So it is 1, and I'm going up by 2. So up to minus 4. So that would be another point, and that would be another point. And it's going to be a straight line, and because you've got 2 of your points, you only really need 2. You can just join them up. So I can see it's going to start from here, and it'll just go through all of them. One way you can check this is if you substitute 5 in, so x is equal to 5. When I put this into here, I should get a value of 4. So y is equal to 2 multiplied by 5, take away 6, 10 take away 6, which does give me 4. So this point is correct, and that tells me the rest of the line will probably be correct. Question 15. Work out 5 over 8 plus 13 over 16. Give your answer as a mixed number. Let's first convert this one so that it has a common denominator with the other one, and I can see the lowest common multiple of 8 and 16 would just be 16, so that's quite nice. I can multiply that one by 2 on the top and the bottom to get that to a 16. 5 times 2 is 10. I'm adding 13 over 16. So I've got common denominators. I just need to add my numerators, keep this as the same. 10 and 13 is 23, be over 16. It wants it as a mixed number, so how many wholes are in there? How many 16s fit into 23? That would be 1. What's remaining? 7, and I would place it over my original fraction, which is 16. So 1 and 7/16. Question 16. Here is a triangle on a grid. The triangle is reflected in a vertical line. Vertical just means this way. Horizontal means left to right, like the horizon. 2 of the vertices of the reflected triangle are at 7, 3 and 7, 7. Let's plot those on. So 7, 3 is over here, and 7, 7 is over here. What are the coordinates of the other vertex of the reflected triangle? Vertex is just point, so we're trying to find where this other point is. So it's been reflected somewhere, and I can see there's a gap of 2 there, and there's a gap of 2 here. So that means the line of reflection will be over here. Because this vertex matches up with this vertex, if I count the side length of this base, it's 3, I can just count backwards from here. So 1, 2, 3, which means that point would be at 10, 3. Part B, what is the equation of the line of reflection? If I take a look at this, I've already drawn it on, it's where x is equal to 6. If I take a look at all of these coordinates, for example, this first one, it's at 6, 0. The second one is at 6, 1, 6, 2. So the x coordinate is always the same. So x is equal to 6. Question 17, Ali has £80. He gives 9/10 of his money to Joe. Joe spends 2/3 of this money and he gives the rest back to Ali. What fraction of the £80 does Ali have now? Give your answer in its simplest form. And let's do this one step at a time. So Ali starts off with £80 and he gives 9/10 of the money to Joe. So what's 9/10 of 80? Way we can do this is divide it by 10 and multiply it by 9. So 80 divided by 10 and multiplied by 9 is 80 divided by 10 is 8, and 8 times by 9 is 72. So he's giving £72 to Joe. So Joe has £72. Joe spends 2/3 of this money and he gives the rest back to Ali. So I know I did 9/10 in the first part, but this time instead of finding 2/3, because I care about the amount that he's giving back to Ali, I'm just going to find what 1/3 is just to speed up the process. So 1/3 of 72, 72 divided by 3. 3's into 7 is 2, carry 1 over, 3's into 12 is 4. So 1/3 of 72 is 24. This is the amount that Joe is giving back to Ali. So Ali is receiving £24 back and he has £8 remaining because he only gave £72 away. So plus 8 is equal to 32 and we want it as a fraction out of 80. So we're doing 32 over 80. Both of these divided by 8, 32 divided by 8 is 4, 80 divided by 8 is 10, and this can simplify again, divide by 2 on the top and the bottom, so 2 over 5. Question 18. Work out the square root of 100 minus 4 and in brackets 2 squared plus 5. This is testing us on our BIDMAS. So the first thing that I need to consider is my brackets. This bit, the 2 squared plus 5, I'm going to work on that first. So I've got the square root of 100 minus 4, there's an invisible multiplied sign there, and 2 squared is 4, and 4 plus 5 is 9. So I've got 4 multiplied by 9. Let's work out this part now. So I've got negative 4 multiplied by 9, so 100. Negative 4 times by 9, it's a negative times a positive, so it's going to be negative, and 4 times by 9 is 36. All I need to do here, I can imagine that there's a bracket between those two, and I need to work this out first. So 100 take away 36 is 64, and the square root of 64, what multiplies by itself to give me 64? That would just be 8. Question 19, what does A union B represent in probability of A union B? This just means A or B, or it could be both. So it's going to be this one. Question 20, Salma is raising money for charity. Her mum says, whatever amount you raise, I will add double that amount. Show this information by drawing a graph on each grid below. So on the x-axis, we've got amount raised by Salma. So let's say she raised £100. How much would her mum give her? She says she would add double that amount. So if Salma raises 100, her mum will add £200. So we can plot 1 point there. If Salma raises £20, her mum will add double that, which is at 40. So now that I've got 2 points, I can just join both of these up with a straight line. Start at 0, 0, because when Salma raises nothing, her mum will give her nothing. And that'd be my final line. That's the first one done. For the next one, it says total amount raised and the amount raised by Salma. So let's work on this point first. So if Salma raises £100, her mum is going to give her £200. So altogether, 100 plus 200 will be 300. So that's 1 point. Let's do another point here. If Salma raises £20, her mum is going to give her £40. So altogether, she would have £60. So it would be at 20, 60, which is there. I've got those 2 points, just need to connect those up. That's that one done. Question 21. Write down the value of cos 90. We can use our exact trig value table for this one. So I just draw a big square root. I've got sine and cos. Start with sine because it's the origin. And because it's origin, we start with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Go backwards from there, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. That's all over 2. And the angles that we care about are 0, 30, 45, 60, and 90. The first two and the last two go up by 30. The rest go up by 15. We want cos of 90, so we look where cos 90 is. That'd be the square root of 0 over 2. Square root of 0 is just 0, and 0 divided by 2 is 0. So the answer here is just 0. Question 22. Work out the value of 8 squared times 8, and remember here there's an invisible 1, divided by 8 to the power of 9 divided by 8 to the power of 5. So we're using our index laws here. Whenever we're multiplying and we have the same base, we just add the powers and we keep the bases as they are. So for this first one, we're doing 2 add 1, which is 8 to the power of 3. For this next one, I'm dividing, and whenever I have the same base that I'm dividing, I just take away the powers. So I'm doing 9, take away 5. So divide by 9 take away 5 is 4, it's 8 to the power of 4. We're dividing again, so we're doing 3 take away 4. 3 take away 4 is negative 1. So now I have a negative indice. If I have a negative, that means I need to find the reciprocal of it. Reciprocal just means I need to flip it. So I've got 8 over 1, and I'm going to flip it so that it becomes 1 over 8. We're not finished yet. We need to give our answer as a decimal. We need to do 1 divided by 8. If you know 1/8 is half of 1/4, and 1/4 is 0.25, you could just half this 0.25 to become 0.125. If you're not sure about that, you could do 1 divided by 8. So 1 divided by 8, 8 doesn't go into 1, so that would be 0. I put a decimal here and a decimal here, put a few extra zeros, carry that 1 over. 8 into 10 is 1 with a remainder of 2. 8 into 20 is 2 with a remainder of 4. 8 into 40 is 5, so it'd be 0.125. Question 23. Write down the equation of a line parallel to y equals 3x plus 1. There's two parts of an equation of a line. There's the gradient and the y-intercept. We don't really care about the y-intercept for this one. When we're looking for lines that are parallel, if this is the gradient of one of the lines, we'll call it m equals 3. The gradient of a line that's parallel to it, they're never going to meet. That would have the same gradient. If you're looking to create equations of lines that are parallel, they just need to have the same gradient. So I can have y equals 3x, and as long as it's not plus 1, it'd be totally fine. You could have negative 1, negative 100, negative 1000, plus 25, you could have anything there. Question 24. A music company releases 10 albums. The scatter graph shows for each album the number of downloads on the first day and the number of CDs sold on the first day. Line of best fit has been drawn. So they've already created this table for us. The scatter graph shows positive correlation. Describe the relationship between number of downloads and number of CDs sold. So we can see as number of downloads are increasing, the number of CDs sold are increasing. They're directly proportional to each other. So I'm going to write the number of downloads and number of CDs sold both increase at the same rate. Part B. The company earns £2.50 for each download and £3 for each CD sold. The company releases another album. On the first day, it has 9,000 downloads. Estimate the total amount the company earns from downloads and CDs of the album that day. We're going to need to work out how much they're earning from downloads and how much they're earning from CDs. We're going to do downloads first because we have the information for downloads. So we have 9,000 downloads altogether, and each of them are earning £2.50. Instead of using column multiplication or something, I'm going to do 9,000 times by the 2, and then I'm going to do 9,000 times 0.5. So that's the same as dividing by 2. 9,000 times 2 is 18,000, and 9,000 times 0.5 is 4,500. Just need to add those two together, we get 22,500. You could also do times by 10 and divide by 4. It's up to you. There's a few different ways you could do it. We've done downloads, let's do CDs. So we know each CD sells for £3, but we don't know how many CDs are selling, so we're going to have to use a graph for this. Let's draw a line from how many number of downloads there were. There were 9,000, so we draw a line going up, and then we draw a line going straight across. And you can see it's somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gaps, so each gap is going to be worth 200. So that'd be 5,200, and that'd be 5,400. So CDs are going to be 3 multiplied by 5,400. 5,000 times 3 is 15,000. And 400 times by 3 is 1,200. Altogether, 16,200. Last thing that we need to do is just add up both of these numbers. So we've got 22,500 plus 16,200. That would give us 38,700. Question 25. 70% of a number is 350. So let's change that into a fact. So 70% is equal to 350. Work out 120% of the number. So we're trying to get to 120%. What number goes nicely into both 70 and 120? For this one, I think I would choose 10. 10 is normally a good number to go to. And on the left-hand side, to get from 70 to 10, I've divided by 7. and from 10 to 120, I've multiplied it by 12. So I'm going to do the same thing to the right-hand side. 350 divided by 7, 35 divided by 7 is 5, so it's going to be 50. And 50 multiplied by 12, 5 times 12 is 60, so 600. Question 26. Here is a graph of y equals 0.5x squared minus 6x plus 12. Use a graph to estimate the solutions of that equation. All we need to do here is find our points of intersection. These are our solutions. So x is going to equal, it's somewhere between 0 and 5. It's going up in 1, so that'd be 1, 2, that'd be at 2.5. Or it could be at, that's 10, that'd be 9, so that'd be 9.5. Question 27. Shape A is a circle with radius root 17 over 2 centimeters. That's already on. Shape B is a sector of a circle with radius 5 centimeters, and all that information is there. Which shape has the greater area, A or B? So we're working out area here. Let's first write our formulas for areas of circles and areas of sectors. So formula for area of a circle, it's cherry pie delicious for circumference and apple pies are 2 for area. For areas of sector of circle, we're doing theta over 360 multiplied by pi r squared. So that's the formula for area of a circle. So all we're doing here, we're finding the fraction of the circle that we have and we're multiplying it by the formula for area of a circle. Just need to find out the areas now. Let's do the area of A first. So we're doing pi multiplied by r squared. Pi multiplied by root 17 over 2 squared, and keep that in brackets. Here, what we're actually doing is root 17 over 2 multiplied by root 17 over 2 because we're squaring it. We're multiplying everything in here by itself. Root 17 times root 17, the roots would cancel, so we're left with 17, and 2 times 2 gives me 4, so we're left with 17 over 4. It's 17 over 4 multiplied by pi, which we can write as 17 over 4 pi. I'm going to do the area for B now. So area of B is equal to theta over 360, so the angle over 360, multiplied by pi r squared, and r squared here is 5 squared, so 5 squared. I know 5 squared is 25, so that'd be 25 pi, and 60 over 360 is the same as 6 over 36, or 1/6. So 1/6 multiplied by 25 pi, which is equal to 25 over 6 pi. I'm trying to compare the area of area A and area B. So I'm comparing these two values here. I've got 25 over 6 pi and 17 over 4 pi. I can't compare them easily right now, so I'm going to convert them to mixed numbers and see if that helps. So how many 4s go into 17? That would be 4. So 4 wholes, there'd be 1 remaining, and that'd be over 4. So 4 and 1/4 pi. For this one, 6s into 25 is 4, 1 remaining over 6 pi. And now they've both got 4s, but this one has 1/4 and this one has 1/6. So which is bigger? 1/4 is going to be greater than 1/6 because it's split up into less parts. So I'm going to write 4 and 1/4 pi is greater than 4 and 1/6 pi. So that's telling me that area of A is greater than area of B. Question 28. Factorize x squared plus 2x minus 24. I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to give me negative 24, and they're going to add to make 2. To do this a little bit easier, I'm going to write out my factors of 24. So the first one would be 1 and 24. Second one would be 2 and 12. Then 3 and 8. And I think this one would be 8, 4 and 6. So I need two numbers that multiply to give me a negative. So that means one of them will be a negative, and they need to add up to make negative 2. So I think here it would be a positive 6 and a negative 4. So 6 take away 4 gives me 2, and 6 times negative 4 gives me negative 24. Because it's quadratic, I'm going to have double brackets. So in the first bracket, I'll have x plus 6. Second bracket, I'll have x minus 4. Question 29. Write 2 times 10 to the power of 3 as an ordinary number. I know 10 to the power of 3 is the same as 10 times by 10 times by 10, which is the same as 1,000. So you could think of it as 2 multiplied by 1,000, which is 2,000. Or another way you could think of it as is 10 to the power of 1 is times it by 10, so that become 20. 10 to the power of 2, 10 to the power of 3. So both ways are fine. Part B, simplify 2 times 10 to the power of 3 to 5 times 10 to the negative 1. Give your answer in the form n to 1. So we want something on the left-hand side and we want 1 on the right-hand side. It's already helped us because we've done part of this question already. We've done 2 times 10 to the power of 3, which is 2,000. What we need to do now is convert this into an ordinary number. So 5 times 10 to the negative 1. 10 to the negative 1 is the same as 1/10. So really, we're doing 5 times by 1/10, which is 0.5. Another way you can think of it is if you have a negative, this number is telling you how many zeros there are at the start. So there's going to be 1 0, and I'm going to have 5 after it. We want 1 on the right-hand side. What have we multiplied by on the right-hand side to get to 1? So I multiplied by 2 there. I need to multiply by 2 there. 2,000 times by 2 is going to be 4,000. That's the end of the questions for today. Feel free to reach out if you need any help with anything. Otherwise, you can watch my channel for other past paper solutions and walkthroughs, including the ones from this year's set. I'll see you soon.